Hi, I'm Dr. Raj Lakshmi Darbari. In my last episode on why Pakistan must let go of Jammu and Kashmir, we learned that there were legislations passed by the India Independence Act and the British Parliament which gave the independence to all the princely states, which were 565. And therefore, Jammu and Kashmir came under that act. Now, the All India Muslim League, which was by Jinnah, was formed in 1906 in Dhaka. Now, it was a very old, during the partition, it became a very old party, political party. So, obviously, now what actually happened at that time? Jinnah's dream of having a separate state for all the Muslims, based on the fact that all their culture and way of life was different, and therefore they will be safer in Pakistan in a separate country. So, what actually happened then? Now, I'm going to go into this a little more deeper because Mr. Jinnah, he was a barrister and he studied at Lincoln Inn in London. Now, he's studying law, so he should have respected the law, but he respected no law at all. And this is what we find when we go into the historical records. The Muslim League's demand for a separate homeland for Muslims in India was articulated through various means, including manifestos, resolutions, and negotiations. It was in the manifesto of the All India Muslim League's party, but there was no legislation. It's all started with the two-nation theory of Jinnah, that is the All India Muslim League. It advocated for the idea that Muslims and Hindus were two distinct nations with different cultures, histories, and interests. This theory underpinned their demand for a separate homeland. This was just a theory, and it was not a British legislation or an India Independence Act. In 1946 elections, the AIMM campaigned on the promise of creating a separate homeland for Muslims and their elections. They held elections for that amongst the Muslims. This was in their election manifesto. It reflected in their goal of the creating a separate Muslim country. This was their goal. Now, this was Jinnah's dream. But what's happened to his dream? Today, so many Muslims who were in India, left behind in India, they never joined Pakistan. And the amount of Muslims that we have in India today are higher in quantity than the Muslims in Pakistan. So his total dream of having a separate a separate state, a country for just Muslims, based on their cultural histories and interests, was a dream that was not a proper dream. I would suggest that. I would say that because when you become a leader, you've got to have the right dreams that increase the economy of the company and that leads it to prosperity. But this kind of dream, just because if you have a different culture and historic or interest, what could be the different interest of a Muslim and a Hindu? Why was this put into his manifesto? This becomes a point for everybody to understand. Okay, what are we talking about? What are we arguing so much about? That the Pakistan got created because of this simple manifesto, which in my opinion, and I'm sure many people will agree with me, should never have been there, because all human beings have the same interest of having prosperity and richness, building a home, and when you become a leader, you want to provide your people the best of best. You want to build nations, you want to build bridges. But what kind of manifesto is this? Now, let us look at the legislative framework. I'm going to read it out to you. The Muslims League demand for a separate homeland for Muslims in India was articulated through various means, including manifestos, resolutions, and negotiations. The two nation theory, Jinnah and the AML, advocated for the idea that Muslims and Hindus were two distinct nations with different cultures, histories, and interest. This theory underpinned their demand for a separate homeland. This sounds like an illusion to me. The 1946 elections. The All India Muslim League campaigned on the promise of creating a separate homeland for Muslims, and their election manifesto reflected this goal. The legislative framework, Government of India Act 1935. This act provided a framework for provincial autonomy and a federal structure for India. However, it did not directly address the Muslim League's demand for a separate homeland. All India Muslim League was dissolved in 1947. So even that manifesto fell through. So why are they hanging on to the line of control and trying and asking for Jammu and Kashmir? There's no sense in it at all. We have to knock sense into our leaders, and I think the world leaders, they should have a discussion on this point. That if this happened in the past and it was wrong, the goals were wrong, then we have to look at the leaders now. Where are they leading their people to? So I hope you will be looking at my episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, and episode 5, which I have put out there for all of you to listen to. And I'm sure if we people of India get together and we start spreading this message that it was not a proper dream of Jinnahs to dream that way, because today we have more Muslims in India than they are in Pakistan, and we are very happy together. So what he dreamt of is not a dream for which Pakistan people should be fighting for today. They should let go of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you.
To be continued in episode 7. Watch out for it.